thanks to the support as a channel member, Paul Thomas. Right, we're going to do a compromise because I may have committed thinking we were definitely going to get promoted to a system that I am convinced just won't work at this level. So we're not going to do the low tempo passing system. What we are going to do is bring in some wingers. We're going halfway there. We're changing the system. We've not used width at all in this save. This summer transfer window is all about going out and getting some wide men because we are going to get promoted using something I would like to call the 4-4 flipping 2. Hello and welcome to part 23 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode is our season review and transfer special at the end of our third season, stuck down in Tier 9. We need to put together a promotion-winning team this summer. Our signing of the season last year went to Josh Bayliss. Nobody could argue with that. 31 appearances, 18 goals, a 7.04 average rating. I say nobody could argue with it. The one man who probably could argue is George Beattie, who played 5 more games, scored 1 more goal and got a slightly higher average rating. It's difficult to see when you see who our 2 best players were that the reason we didn't get promoted is because we just couldn't buy a goal for the last 7 or 8 games of the season. We just couldn't score. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Beattie and Bayliss. I think the way we're supplying them is what the problem is. Bayliss is a 6'2" target man. We need crosses. So we're getting the ball out wide. We're going to get some wingers and we are just going to focus entirely on bombarding the penalty area with crosses so this man can get 30 goals next season. That's the new plan. As a reminder, just to confirm that we did massively overperform once again. It says there we were supposed to reach the playoffs. The club version all season long said top half. Either way, we overperformed anyway. We finished second. We were this close to going up through that playoff final, but unfortunately North Greenford ruined our day. Beattie and Bayliss finishing as joint top scorers and 120 people on average turning up to watch us, which is nearly 3 times as many as in season 1. So we are making progress on and off the pitch, just not fast enough. Money is all slightly down, so we didn't get a cup run this time round, and this was our team of the year. And yeah, I mean, Fernandez is going to be gone because we're not going to play with a DM anymore. Dom Pearce, I think the day we've committed for 3 years to playing with attacking midfielders to fit Dom Pearce in. We're still not using him regularly, so it's time for the flat midfield for the 4-4-2. Forget the wide player, forget the attacking midfielders. They're too fancy for this level. We're going with wingers. Gray and Chadder should be able to stick around and play as those overlapping fullbacks as well. The game thinks we've been playing wing play even though we haven't. Now we're going to. We got Beattie, the fans player of the year, Canerva young player of the year, Bayliss signing of the season as we already saw, Beattie top scorer, Chadder most assists, Beattie most man of the matches, Canerva highest average rating. All our best players are in the attack and we just couldn't score. So I'm blaming the midfield. We did set a number of club records as well, usually Beattie or Bayliss, and it's usually to do with goal scoring. Bayliss got 4 goals in a match at one point. Beattie got most goals over the course of the season and the most man of the matches. And Evan Lynch, of course, our highest ever transfer fee received at £600. So that's our all-time best 11. Forget that. Things are going to look very, very different. We've actually lost one social media follower. He got so upset with that playoff final, he's just unfollowed us. I don't think I've ever seen that happen before in Football Manager. That's not a good sign. The board, once again, want us to finish in the top half whilst repairing the club's financial damage. They also want us to play attacking and counter-attacking football at the same time. Yeah. Okay, we'll do that whilst working within our wage budgets. And talking of our wage budgets, we'll get to them in a second. Let's just tell the boys that we're going to get in the playoffs. That's hurt them. Brilliant. We've got there 2 years in a row and they still don't believe they can do it next year. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. They're a bunch of idiots. Yeah, we'll fiddle. Harry Dillon can become a top player. No, he can't. I'm tempted to sack my assistant manager for that piece of nonsense. But yeah, the squad that we're working with. What? Excuse me? Hello? Footballers? I've never seen that before either. I mean, this is because we've got a lot of players out of contract. So actually under contract currently, we've got Chadder at left back, Drakos, Dallison and Antwi at centre back, Russ Eddy and Josh Bayliss. Everyone else is out of contract, I guess. So I've got to make some decisions about who we're keeping, if anyone. As it stands now, playing in a 4-4-2, the best 11 at the team would be this. So obviously we need wide players. It's going to be a busy summer. Let's have a ponder and work out who we're going to keep. We'll do that in a second. First, I did just want to say the board are mad. And despite this, have increased my wage budget again. And that's before I've even robbed the scouting budget. I can't rob the scouting budget because they've not set it yet. But I will be trying to rob the scouting budget because we want as much money as we can possibly get to allow me to bring in the highest caliber players that I can. Do we get a scouting budget now? No. I mean, I haven't been able to do a single coaching course yet. If they get it and I don't, I am going to be fuming. Right. Now I am going to work out who we're going to keep and who we're not going to keep. This is going to be a big summer. We're throwing the baby out with the bathwater here. I'd just like to point out for anybody who is questioning just how much we're overperforming, been offered an interview at Darlington. They're in the National League North. For now, not Gainsborough. For now, they're in the National League North. I think they have just been relegated. No, they survived. See, I could be managing in the National League North next year. I'm doing well. It's the club that's the problem. Well, we've decimated the squad, I think it's fair to say. We now have a squad of, 15, but several of these are greyed out. That's a squad of 11 players, I think, plus some youngsters that we can probably move up to the senior squad. So let's get them moved up as well. And there's some significant gaps. As of the 1st of July, we have no goalkeeper at the club. We do have 2 left backs. Chadder, who of course was here last year and was great, and Kemmerer, who a couple of years ago did that and then never got a look in last year. He actually went out on loan and didn't play either. So down to me to give him some opportunities again this year, I think. At centre-back, we have made a signing. 6'5", Albert Wood is a centre-back who can also play right-back. He was playing down in Tier 10 for the last couple of years. 6 goals for the University of Bristol down in Tier 10. We're not going to hold his history with McDongs against him. If he got 6 goals when the AI was controlling him, this is going to be a 20-goal-a-season centre-back at 6'5". He's only got 5 for heading. It doesn't matter. He's tall enough for the ball to just hit him. So he's in. And then we've got Drakos, who was given a new contract, and then Dallison and Antwi, who both have a year left on their contract as well. And then, of course, Josh Gray, who's also been given a new contract at right back. So we have a back 4. We could go Chadder, Wood, Drakos and Gray. That's a back 4. On the left-hand side of midfield, we don't really have anybody. We've got Warren Dixon, who came through the youth system last year and may still be getting a name in the game name. I haven't checked that. And Simon Ward, who came through as well. But really, we need somebody to come in over the top of them. But either of them could be backup, or maybe both of them as backup. We've got nobody who can play right midfield. In centre mid, it's Sean Martin, Dom Pearce, Russ Eddy. We obviously need some senior options in here. I don't mind playing Martin with somebody, but we need at least 2 central midfielders to come in. And up front, it's the same 3 who did so well last year. Bayliss, Canerva, Beattie. The job now is to find one who's even better than all of them, and just basically come in over the top of what we've currently got. If we have a look at what the game thinks our current best 11 is, it's pretty clear where the issues are. Russ Eddy shouldn't be starting in central midfield for us. But up front, I think if we were to make him a pressing forward, that then starts to fit together a bit better if we put them in their preferred roles. We obviously need wingers, a centre mid. The back 4 I'm happy with. That guy, Mr. Greyed Out goalkeeper, probably isn't going to be the goalkeeper that we end up using. And we obviously need to fill out the squad with some more squad players as well. But it is the 1st of July. We've got money to spend. That's after we've offered our youth contracts as well. We've not offered loads of youth contracts, but we have managed to move some scouting budget into wage budget. So we've got a couple of £100 a week to play with, which based on an average salary for a real top player for us of around £50 a week means we can get at least 4 first teamers in. So on that basis, we need a goalkeeper, a couple of wingers and a central midfielder, and then we can fill the squad up with youngsters and loans. Because obviously a lot of the youngsters will be loaned out, so there will be more money that starts to appear as we start to loan out all of these kids on £20 a week. We'll be able to add more players in that way. So the job now is to go get those players and, of course, schedule the Wembley Cup. We haven't got this summer's Wembley Cup scheduled. We're 2-time Wembley Cup champions. We need to just keep doing it. Let's stick it in there and find some... there you go. They can come over and we'll just stick a couple of... Oh, Panthers. That sounds like a fun little team to play against. And then we'll also stick in Football Club of Riverside. There you go. The Wembley Cup for the 3rd year in a row. Let's become Wembley Cup 3-time champions, hopefully with some new players when it happens as well. Well, we managed to get a couple of players in, but we've now hit the bottleneck that we hit every summer where we need to get the loans out before we can carry on bringing players in. But we've got Joe Turpin, who's a 29-year-old centre-back. He's 6'4", which is always handy. That less so, but, you know, he's a rotation option. He was relatively cheap and he's 6'4". I like a big boy at the back. Ben Wood is a new goalkeeper. Ideally, we brought him in to be our backup keeper. He is currently the only keeper at the club, so he might end up being our starting keeper. He's got 2 stars of current ability, 5 stars of potential. He's done a little bit of a non-league tour already, only ever as a backup goalkeeper though. Deal Everett is a winger, a left winger. He was previously of Tamworth, interestingly, and Fisher. And he's a pretty good left midfield player. And then Don Franklin is a central midfield player who's previously of New Haven, amongst others. So there's still obviously areas we need to strengthen. We definitely need a right winger. We don't have one. We tried to get this guy, but he's gone somewhere else. Obviously, we've not done any loans yet. And there's still plenty more business we want to do. But I now need to focus on getting fringe players out on loan to free up wage money before I can then start bringing anybody else in. But there will be more coming in. There has to be. At the moment, the media think we're looking good for 6th place. Still don't have anybody in the Dream 11. But it does look like the teams that have been relegated this year, not so good. Risborough, who got promoted the year before, have been relegated and are now expected to finish rock bottom. So it's clearly all fallen apart for them. The only other team relegated, Hanworth Villa. We might have a chance because we can compete with these teams up this end of the league. Hopefully. Please. The season starting so close to the 1st of July is really not ideal. We've only had like 3 and a bit weeks. We are slowly but surely shipping players out, but it does mean we've not yet been able to bring anybody else in. So the team for the first day of the new season has got more youngsters in it than I planned. I didn't plan to be starting Russ Eddy in central midfield this season. I didn't plan for Warren Dixon and Rory Odo to be the starting wingers. I thought we might bring in some new ones. Deal Everett, who did come in, isn't fit to play. Josh Gray's going to be suspended, so our new 6'5" centre-back's going to be at right back because we don't have another right back, and the new backup goalkeeper is going to be starting in goal. So it's not ideal, but hopefully it'll be fine. Cross your fingers and let's hope we start the season with a bang in tomorrow's episode. If we have a look at the pre-season preview, the media think our squad is worse than it was last year because I think we were slightly higher than that at this point last year. So it's hard to argue at the moment because that midfield 4 doesn't look as good as last season's midfield 4, but it's lined up differently. So hopefully just getting the ball out wide will get more out of our strikers. We want to be on a positive mentality as well. The back 4 I'm pretty happy with, especially once Wood moves over for Turpin and we bring Gray back in. We do need a goalkeeper. We haven't yet explored loans. There's still work to do, but fingers crossed we're now moving in the right direction. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.